welcome to the Total Soccer Show and our Thanksgiving special. It's that time of the year where we in the US gather with our families, give thanks, buy lots of things, and in some cases enjoy turkeys from Popeyes. In recognition of this special time of year, we'll be reflecting on what we're thankful for and what those in the beautiful game should be thankful for too. My name's Ryan Bailey. Joining me today, one of several co-hosts I am thankful for, Taylor Rocco. Hello, Taylor.
Hello, Ryan Bailey. I am thankful for you and our other illustrious co-hosts. Do you try to explain to your children what Thanksgiving is, why it exists? Do they have a read on that, or do you all just kind of go with, it's a big meal and we're all together and it's fine?
Feels like a when you're slightly older conversation, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
I don't think we get into the history of it so much. I think that gets complicated pretty quickly. So I think we're just sort of like, family comes together, we all have a good time. Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions. That's what we send you to school for.
Exactly.
There we go. Hello, Joe Lowry. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. My trick is just to not know any facts about anything. That way, if I'm asked, I just don't know. You know, it's safe. Other than soccer stuff, really. Other than that, I'm just an ignorant fool.
Tell that to your glasses. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, these ones that make me look smart. Ah, yes.
You'll
be disappointed when you ask me a question. I'll tell you that much. See, Ryan also has glasses. You know what I mean? Like, what does that really tell us? You know?
They don't have any lenses in them. I just think they make me look cool.
100% right, Ryan. You look great.
Thank you, Joe. And Graham Ruthen's here. Hello, Graham.
Hello, Ryan Bailey. I don't have the issue of having to explain what Thanksgiving is to Sophie, not because I'm a negligent parent, but that's maybe part of it, but just because not a thing over here, and Thursday will be Thursday. Although I've always liked the idea of Thanksgiving. I kind of wish we had it in the UK. I like the idea of like a second big turkey or ham dinner or something. I've only ever had one Thanksgiving meal, and that was the one we had in New York together that Taylor made for us, and even though all the ingredients were sourced from the dollar store next door, I thought it was great. So maybe I'll just have that on Thursday.
You guys need to understand, and listener, I imagine if you're a regular listener, you've already gathered this over enough time. Taylor and Jeff and I were recording earlier this week, our MLS show, and we were talking about that Thanksgiving meal before we started recording, and Taylor said, and I quote, "I made the dinner and it was bad." He said it was bad. And I said to him, "You are insane." Taylor is one of those chefs, and I am like this too, actually, though maybe slightly less extreme. You make it, and if it is not the best thing you've ever had in your life, it is not good. And as a result, in Taylor's mind, it is bad. That was a great meal.
Yeah, it's like the
beer. I hope another equally bad, I suppose, Thanksgiving meal finds you, because that was so good. And Taylor, you're insane.
Thank you for that. Also, thank you for the bear analogy, Graham. I'm assuming I hope that's related to cooking and not my propensity to just scream when somebody leaves the to-go machine on for too long.
No, it was about that one time you got locked in the fridge, the giant fridge.
Yeah,
dude, that sounds refreshing. I'm not gonna lie.
That's what you want at this point.
A little bit. I had a friend who wanted. There was the suggestion in our fantasy league of doing the Waffle House punishment, where you have to stay in a Waffle House for 24 hours.
Yes.
That was, and I think two of the guys in there who have multiple children were like, I mean, I don't know, 24 hours away, I could just read a book and sit in a booth. I don't see the problem with
eat waffles.
That's
Can
good.
I bring an iPad? That sounds amazing. Yeah.
Guys, think about how that's just my life, you know? Do you guys ever think about that?
I do. I really do sometimes, Joe, when you're like, oh, last night, I watched 2 soccer games and ate pizza and then slept comfortably for 8 hours. Yeah. Just like, oh, yeah? Shut up, Joe.
All right. Hey, this is a thankful episode, not an unthankful episode.
I'm thankful to Joe for shutting up. How about that?
Aw.
There we go.
That's so good. I can do
Graham,
that.
to come back to the lack of Thanksgiving in the UK, do you think that British people are too cynical in general to actually sit around? When I first came to the US and we sat around and said what we're all thankful for, I thought this is a bit silly, because I think the British people can't handle that kind of sincerity and positivity. Do you agree with that?
Positivity and any kind of emotion. So Christmas, it works at Christmas because we just focus on the presents and the Santa of it all. But Thanksgiving is way too. It comes from too deep in the heart, I think, for British people, especially Scottish people and me.
Yeah, there you go. Well, glad I'm not made of stone and I've melted away, and I'm thankful for things which we'll get into on this episode. Before we get to something I'm very thankful for, that is our Patreon family. Patreon.com/Total Soccer Show is how you can support us. If you choose to do so, you'll get bonus episodes, bonus video, and you can join all of our friends in the Discord server. We're in there every day, hanging out. Come and find us in there. It's a lot of fun. Patreon.com/Total Soccer Show. Taylor, I am handing you the carving knife and the prongy fork thing.
Big job.
So you can start us off with something you or someone in the beautiful game is thankful for?
I will start us off, and I will immediately apologize, because I suspect this is going to be on at least one other co-host list, but I'm taking it for myself.
No.
I'm thankful to Scotland. I am thankful to Scotland for qualifying for a World Cup, not just because it made Graham very happy, but because I think it was one of the moments in World Cup qualifying that still felt like it truly mattered. It truly was this big moment. I think with expanded World Cup qualifying, we've had some of that on a smaller scale, but that felt significant, and it felt properly like, oh, the World Cup is coming. We used to get those with qualifying a bit more, where it would feel like, oh, like this team did make it and this team didn't, and there'd be much more discussion around that, and it built the hype a little bit. And I'm not sure I've had as much of that this time around, especially with 3 teams, the 3 host nations automatically qualifying, and then the expanded format. So to get Scotland in there, to get that drama, to get that sense of, I don't know, just euphoria and joy and the raucous celebrations. And even Graham mentioned on Weekend Review, the Andy Robertson, the very touching comments about Diogo Jota and how he was kind of remembering him throughout the day. It just felt very poignant and very wonderful. And it was in a time when I'm having a hard time seeing the beautiful game as being a beautiful game, as opposed to, say, a game that makes a lot of people a lot of money. It felt like a true, like, perfect moment.
Yeah, so unsurprisingly, that one is at the top of my list. Yeah, and I'm thankful to Scott McTominay and Lawrence Shankland and Kieran Tierney and Kenny McLean for scoring the goals that gave me and 50,000 other people inside that stadium and 5 million other people in this country the best night of my life. Like, genuinely the best night of my life. It's not taught by anything
married
else.
and as a child.
Better than my wedding. Cleared it with Lucy before I said it on this episode. Genuinely better than...
Wait. You so like what is because I assume a good-natured reaction. Was she just like, yeah, all right, that's fine? Like,
no, she was not surprised at all by that. I mean, look, wedding was.
Hang on, let's break. Were you in like the kitchen? You've got the coffee. Like, I'd like to say something on the podcast, and I need your blessing. I need to say that a game of soccer was better than the day.
We were talking about what today's episode was, and I just said, and I'm going to top my list is going to be Scotland, which was I'm going to say was the best night of my life. Which I've thought about it for over a week, and it was because like the wedding was it was significant in my life, but it was. There's anxiety and nerves.
Graham,
what
did she say? What did she say in response to you when you said that you were going to say that?
Fine. Yeah, she knew when she married.
I was going to say, she didn't say anything. She just made eye contact with me for 30 seconds and walked out of the room. I assume that's fine.
Yeah, she's actually really ill today, so maybe I made her ill with that statement. But best night of my life. I'm thankful to Belarus for that draw in Copenhagen that set the whole thing up. Not entirely sure how that happened even to this day. I'm thankful to John McGinn for being John McGinn, and I'm even thankful to Steve Clark and his wee curmudgeon face. We'll see how long that lasts when the tournament draws nearer and we embarrass ourselves next summer. But it was nice to see him lose it a bit when the Tierney goal went in. So and I'm also I haven't actually mentioned this yet. Genuinely thankful, to be sincere for a moment, genuinely thankful to all the listeners who sent me messages after the game. Genuinely hundreds of messages came through on all different platforms, and Taylor Twellman sent me a wee tweet as well. So I don't know if these people know that I didn't actually play the game, but I'll take it all the same. So thank you to everyone who sent me a little message. It was nice.
A wee treat is not a retreat, just to be clear.
A wee tweet,
okay.
Yeah.
Very good. I mean, I am not the biggest fan of the international window, as has been made clear on this feed many times over. But this last window, when the whole qualification process is coming to its climax like it did, it is brilliant. And this was a brilliant window, not just for Scotland, but for Ireland as well, and for many other countries. It's just that sort of alchemy of everything coming together like it did for Scotland is wonderful, isn't it? You can't really beat that, because that communal feeling you get in that moment. And as I think I mentioned, I kind of wished I was in Scotland the next day, because the feeling on the streets and people talking to each other would have been a different world to the way it was a week before.
I mean, there were so many different things that I didn't even mention last week, but like when I was driving down a part of Glasgow that's called Giffnock, as I was going home at Hampden, it was like something out of film. There were like fireworks going off either side of the road as I was driving back home. It was incredible, and there were stories. The World Cup is still, despite FIFA's best efforts, it's still the purest form of soccer, in my opinion. And in that last window, you had stories everywhere, ones that we didn't even get. Ones that we didn't even have time to mention. So like Austria qualifying for the first time in a long time. Norway, we did mention them, but the first time since 1998 that they've qualified for a tournament. You go to CAF and you had DR Congo beating Nigeria in the penalty shootout to go to the Intercontinental Playoff. You had Curacao qualifying for the first time as well. So there's just great stories all over the place, and I can't wait for next summer.
Yeah, I think that is one of the top things on my list as well that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful to FIFA, and I think FIFA should also be thankful that the expanded World Cup has led to good stories via new countries qualifying. Now, there's an asterisk to this. This is the only time we're going to get it. It's only going to get cheaper from this point forward, because one thing that is so special about World Cup qualifying is when new countries make it in. And Graham, you just mentioned some of the countries that have made real progress. You mentioned Curacao as a country qualifying for the first time. Cape Verde, Jordan, Uzbekistan, those are the first timers so far. Haiti's qualified, but they've qualified before, but it's been years and years and years. But those 4 nations so far are the first timers for 2026. And that's going to be really cool. Like, legitimately, that is going to be cool. So if we're looking for things to be thankful for, and I am grateful that we're going to see those countries have new experiences. The downside, and I apologize for cheapening it, as I've already done, is that every year that the World Cup is this size or larger means that we're going to get fewer of these stories. Or we'll have some sort of random bump and then it'll decline again, because that means more countries have made it to the World Cup and it gets less special and more diluted, which is inevitable with how FIFA is taking all of this. But we've given a lot of flack to the 48-team World Cup. Seeing Curacao parade through the streets of the smallest country to ever qualify for the World Cup, 150,000 people. 150,000 people. That is mind-boggling to me. It's awesome. That genuinely warms my heart. It warmed my heart to see Scotland most of all, because we care about Graham and we want him to be happier than he's ever been in his entire life with his wife and child. But I mean, this is really special. Seeing these countries qualify is really special. These have been some of the highlights of my year, my soccer year. It's really cool.
It's very cool indeed. Was it hard to say you were thankful for a 48-team World Cup there, Joe?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's difficult, right? Because we're getting force-fed all of this, and I don't want to be force-fed so much that I don't like soccer anymore, you know? I still love soccer. I love that we get to do this for a job. I love that I get to do this for a job. And I don't want to be cynical Sam 24/7, you know? I don't enjoy living like that. And so I wish that it wasn't like this. I wish that there weren't 48 teams at the World Cup, but in some ways I can be happy that there are, at least this time around.
Very good. All right, why don't we take a quick break? When we come back, much more of what we're thankful for. Join us then. Total Soccer Show, welcome back to our Thanksgiving special, in which we are declaring the things we're thankful for and the things that those in the beautiful game should be thankful for. I'd like to jump in with something I'm thankful for. Cole Palmer is what I'm thankful for. Not
just
a Chelsea
general.
fan. Just in general. Can I leave it there? I think it's justified.
He would.
He would indeed. I'm not a Chelsea fan, was he not a Man City fan? He's arguably England's most talented player. There's probably a couple. Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham might have something to say about that. But he's definitely, whether or not he's the most talented English player, he is the most funny England player and person in general. We've had so many moments from him over the last year and over the last few years where I've just thought I think he gets people confuse him with being unintelligent. But I don't think he's unintelligent. I think he's very intelligent and he knows exactly what he's doing most of the time, and it is brilliant and it is part of his comedy. So in the last few, recent moments that have got us and tickled us, trophy in the shorts in the CBS interview, remember this? And the response was, well, I ain't got no pockets. Yep,
which is true.
You have hands!
Can't argue with it.
Very well. Chippy chips, which is something that is mentioned a lot here. That is sort of fries from a fish and chip shop is how you'd interpret that. But it's only funny in the context was the interviewer asking him for his order at a Chinese restaurant, which was chippy chips and salt and pepper chicken, which sounds like the most bland British thing you could ever order.
Of course,
from a Chinese
salt and pepper
restaurant.
chicken. Yeah. What else would you have at a Chinese restaurant?
Ryan,
chicken and chips. Yeah.
Ryan, don't tell the Americans about our Chinese food. It's a national shame. Push them towards Indian food.
Yeah, okay, very well. There's lots of other things, you know, when he went out he's gone out in disguise a few times. In New York, he did it at the Club World Cup. He went out in the Notting Hill Carnival dressed up in a certain way. He was in that video asking the waiter at a restaurant, "Did you make this yourself?" I think he's just wonderful.
That's the best one.
That's my favourite one. That's my favourite. There is actually, I've discovered there is a term, Palmercore. If you were like hardcore into Cole Palmer, you were into Palmercore, and I'm into Palmercore. I've decided. I'm very thankful for Cole Palmer.
How did you find that?
Maybe I started it.
That's what I'm wondering.
Maybe I
Ryan,
did.
$1 billion idea. You start a newsletter that's just chronicling Cole Palmer. Graham, move over. There's a new soccer newsletter king in town. His name's Ryan Bailey.
AI, but it's only Cole Palmer. Like ChatGPT, but the answers you get are Cole Palmer.
Oh, PAI. Pi.
Yeah, there we go.
You'd write this like 7-paragraph long existential question about what it is to be a person, and the response would just be like, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, Ryan, what you're getting at, what I would agree with, there's an earnestness. I feel like he is always giving you like an honest answer. I think he's just pretty blunt and unemotional about it. So like that Chinese food order, I think a lot of people would see that as like what's a good answer, what's a cool answer, what's an interesting answer, what's like the thing on the menu that people seem to like. He just seems to be giving you the straightforward truth. And maybe that's just the way I'm perceiving it. Maybe that's not true at all. But it does seem to be like you're getting a level of honesty in his answers that we don't always get from footballers, combined with a level of bluntness that makes him eternally endearing.
There's a humbleness there as well. Like it's I think of the time where he was spotted. Remember, he was spotted running out of Stamford Bridge. People were like, "What?"
Yeah.
After a game, people through crowds of people,
Yeah.
and it was like, "What's Cole Palmer doing?" And he explained that he was just going to pick up some shoes. Get them to come into the stadium. I'm sure you have the power to invite them into the stadium. But he just went and got them himself.
It's nice. Yeah, no filter. He's very humble. I love him. I think he's the best. I hope he gets more time in an England shirt than he did at the last tournament. Let's say that much.
Do you think he's as enjoyable as a teammate, or do you think it's only enjoyable to like an outsider and as a teammate when he's, I don't know, like unable to put a training bib on in the middle of a session? Are you like, this guy again? Or do you think he is endearing enough that everybody loves him?
It's hard to know. I think if I was at Cobham with him every day, I'd find him impossible not to love.
Okay.
Yeah, and also
Ryan,
the fact
you are
he
a
sticks one
timely
in the top
punctual
corner
person.
in every game makes him easy to love as well.
That helps.
Sorry, Taylor.
That helps.
I stepped on yours. My bad.
Okay, very good. Cole Palmer. He is the person for whom I am thankful. One of them, I suppose. I'm also thankful for my dog. Joe, what are you thankful for?
What's your dog's name? How might you speak to your dog if you?
No,
If she were to
Ryan,
pronounce
no.
retweet, she would say we tweet, definitely.
Tweet. Dog.
Taylor's taking his headphones
Taylor, you're
off.
good. You're safe, Taylor. Go, Ryan, do it. Okay.
Safe space. Safe space.
The thing that one of the things that I am very thankful for this soccer year. Gio's back, baby. And I was right all along. Oh, it's so good. There is nothing sweeter to my ears than Taylor saying earlier this week, / maybe also tomorrow, depending on when we're putting episodes out, that he now sees Gio Reyna's talent. Like it truly does warm my heart. I've had so many arguments with people in the Discord, so many arguments with Taylor about Gio Reyna and how stupid good he is at soccer. I've called him the U.S.'s most talented player. I think I've called him the U.S.'s most talented player of all time so many times. And it has floored me the number of people that have pushed back on that when it is so clear. And watching Gio Reyna come in, waltz back into the team after not having played any soccer in basically 4 years, and every time he trots back into the U.S. team to be the best player on the field, fills my heart with such joy that is almost indescribable. It makes me so happy. Gio Reyna just played 38% of his season's minutes in his 2 games for the U.S. men's national team.
And that was what, 90 minutes? It
was 104 minutes total. Yeah, it is just absurd. The whole thing is absurd. I still have no clue if he's going to play at the World Cup or not. I think he probably is. But that Pochettino rates him, and really he was just in the doghouse for being Gio Reyna and not for being Gio Reyna the soccer player, fills me with great joy. That everybody realizes that I was right fills me with great, deep-seated joy. Gio's back, baby, and I am thankful.
Joe, do you fear that this victory lap may have been taken slightly too early?
No. So here's the hedge. Here's the hedge.
No, there's no hedge. You just called him the most talented player of all, or American player of all time.
Which is true. That's true if he never steps on the soccer field again. I'm not talking about output, which also he's been one of those productive U.S. players ever. I'm talking about talent. People get this confused. People think that I don't realize that Gio Reyna has been a locker room cancer for most of his career. I do. We've talked about it for hours on this show. What I have said all along is that his talent, his ability to impact soccer games when he's on the field, is unlike anything else that the U.S. has. I just said in that answer, I don't know if he's going to play at the World Cup. I already said that. So the hedge is in there. I understand that this is still something that might not happen, but the thing that I am taking great joy in is Taylor said earlier this week in our timeline, maybe not the listener's timeline, that he came around to some of what Gio Reyna is doing. That is the thing that fills me with joy. It took me years to win the Brendo debate. I think we finally got there. I feel like I'm think I'm winning the
he's
Gio
coming
debate.
I think that door might be open back up. I just want Joe, quick clarification question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you get an just an undergraduate degree, a master's degree, or a PhD in the Matt Doyle School of making a statement but also throwing in an inflammatory comment at the same time? Because he is the expert at that, and I'm wondering if you learned that from him and at what level.
Perhaps subconsciously, yeah. I think undergrad, in real life, I got my undergrad and that was it, and I have no desire to ever go back to school for any reason, so probably just the same thing here. The rest is just like, online licensing courses and stuff like that.
Yeah. You're serving up an inflammatory sandwich here, Joe.
No, they're
I like
truly, like, I'm not even intending to take any barb. I don't think I'm taking barbs. I'm not trying to exchange any barbs here. I'm just happy. I'm like truly so happy that Gio Reyna is back and is playing soccer and looks really good. And it did genuinely warm my heart that I think we're all kind of rowing in the same direction on Gio in November of 2025.
Joe, is Claudio in the room with you now? You can tell us. Give us
Yeah,
a
hey,
signal.
I'm almost done, Claudio. Don't worry. Daniela, I'm coming. Just hold on.
At the risk of extending this further, like, I think my quibble with your statement historically has been that, like, injury and form factor into that. And you can be incredibly good at a certain point, but if you're not playing and if you're injured, eventually your potential, your ability to develop is going to diminish. And I feel like Joe, and some of what you have said, it's been very like, no, he's the best no matter what. If he's fit, he's better than everybody. And I still take issue with that a little bit, but I see your point all the same, that he looked excellent for the U.S. and he looked like he could do things that other players could not. So I think in that way, I fully agree with everything you're saying. It's just that one little bit that still trips me up of, like, if you don't play for a year and then you come back in, I don't think you should be a starter, and I think he does think that. And I don't think that you are still playing at the best level, and I think he does think that. So that remains the locker room issue, the personality clash remains a concern for me. But the on-field product, significantly less so after this last window.
Joe, you do realise that the Balogun victory lap was right there for you to take, and you wouldn't have had any pushback on that, I don't think.
No, so okay, can I do one more? This one is not for me. This one is for USMNT fans. Graham, the next item on my list, I have me. Gio is back, baby, in all caps. Then I have USMNT fans. Something that they should be thankful for is Florin Balogun, and I want to use Balogun to zoom out and to talk about the U.S. for just a second. I think the U.S. is genuinely better off now than they were in the 2022 World Cup. And it's been a long time coming. And I've said on the show many times that really a lot of these guys just hadn't developed since 2022. And that is still true. A lot of U.S. players have not improved. Some, it seems like, have taken a step backwards. Yunus Musa, unfortunately, I think fits into that category. But I don't think a whole lot of U.S. players have improved since 2022. What has happened, though, is that more players and more impact players are going to be available. So Balogun is one of those guys. Or Balogun was not at the World Cup in 2022. He hadn't committed to the U.S. by then. The U.S. did not have great striker play in that tournament. Balogun is pretty obviously the best striker the U.S. has had in a long time, right? How long that is, I don't know. I'll defer to people that have watched the U.S. for longer than I have. But he is a very good player, and he's going to be starting up top for the U.S. at the World Cup. That's huge for this team. They've improved in one of the 11 spots that you can start a soccer game with. That is a massive, massive improvement. But it's not just Balogun. It's also Chris Richards, who was injured for the last World Cup and has very much improved since then. So he breaks that mold of most guys not improving. That's another spot, another crucial spot on the field where the U.S. has legitimately improved. You might be able to toss Gio Reyna in there. Again, I don't know if he's going to play at the World Cup. I think he might, but he's another player that really was not involved last time around for all intents and purposes. Maybe Ricardo Pepi, you could toss into here as well. I think he's going to be at the World Cup. I'm not 100% sure, but Pepi didn't make the last World Cup, and Pepi certainly has improved since then. I think we can say with real confidence, I think USMNT fans can say with real confidence and should be thankful for the fact that their team is better. I think the U.S. fans should be feeling more bullish about their team between being a pot one team and this being an expanded World Cup and having, I think, just a straight up better roster heading into 26 than they did into 22, which was not a guarantee for quite some time. I think USMNT fans should be thankful in a way that they haven't been for a while now.
Yep. I co-sign with that, Joe, and I would extend it. My next one was I'm thankful for Pochettino. And I think I'll hold my hands up at that point and say there are moments in his tenure as U.S. coach where I didn't know how committed he was. I didn't know if this was like really a priority for him, if he was just kind of like, whatever, it's the U.S., it'll be fine, and wasn't taking it as seriously. And we even, I think on the show, had discussions about like who could take over. Like, not that any of us ever thought he was going to get sacked or walk away or anything like that, but it was just there's a period in time in which things seemed really chaotic and really like not as functional or fluid as we would like. And I think what I am thankful for in Poch is that it's been a reminder of there's just a lot more to building a team than I think I tend to remember or even knew in the first place. And he is a good example of how to build a team, I think. And it's where, Joe, to quibble with another point you make sometime about the value of coaches, trying to go down that road, but I know a lot of that has to do with like in-game management and how much they're able to affect. If anything, I'm guessing you would agree with the idea that what Pochettino has done in terms of building this roster and creating the competition and a little bit of ruthless pragmatism to it has been so critical in getting this team to look better than they ever did leading into the 2022 World Cup. Now that might be recency bias and not really having the sharpest of memory when it comes to the games leading into the 2022 World Cup. But I think there is so much less reliance on trusting the system, trusting the process, getting the rotations down in the exact right manner such that it creates an opportunity. Like, I think in retrospect, I don't think Berhalter was as bad of a coach as many people seem to think, but I think I see the limitations in his approach a lot more clearly because I think he spent a lot of time balancing egos and making sure that the vibe was really positive and players felt really empowered and happy. And then I think that tipped over into maybe too much of that. And Pochettino, I think, has come about and kind of been a stricter coach in what his expectations are and what he expects from his players on and off the pitch. But I think also there's just been a no-nonsense pragmatism of like, oh, okay, you're tired? Then I won't call you in, but I'll call in somebody else. And if they perform well, I'll keep calling them back in. And I think that there is a non-zero chance that Pulisic doesn't start the first game at the World Cup. I don't think it's a huge chance, but I think that that's what Pochettino has done. And I think that is the approach he has with this team is like, if you are not buying in, if you're not going to do what I'm asking of you, you don't make my team better. So on you go. And I hope that you kind of embrace it in time to be in that squad. But I fully think he is more than capable of dropping big names if that's what it requires, if that's what he thinks will get the best performance out of the team. And it's not the Klinsmann thing with Donovan of like it feeling a little bit petty and a little bit personal. It feels much more like this is what I need and I know what I want from my team. And that just has me feeling a lot of optimism and enthusiasm for the U.S. at the World Cup. I don't know how far they're going to go, but I don't think that they are going to be embarrassed in their performances. And I had fears about that not too long ago. So I am grateful that he has done what he has done, been a steady and calm presence and an assertive presence at that. And I am thankful for Pochettino.
It's been interesting to talk about. That's the main thing that I am thankful for. Because had everything gone to plan with the Berhalter cycle, can you imagine how boring this year would have been with no competitive fixtures? And we would have been talking about things like third choice left backs, which we do now as well. But like it feels like there's more at stake now with not totally knowing who's going to start these games. And it would have been like really in the weeds stuff. I think the US would have been going through the motions much more than it has this year. And instead, Poch, he stripped everything back. And there was a point around the end of the Gold Cup where I genuinely did not know what the World Cup team was going to look like. And obviously that process has sort of accelerated recently and it hasn't been a smooth process. I honestly don't know if the US is a good team. I'd love to believe that team next summer can go on a serious run, but I am wary of the fact that we've only seen them in friendlies. We haven't seen them since March in a competitive fixture, and March didn't go so well. But it has given us plenty to talk about, and it's got me excited for next summer.
It's not a flattering thing to throw out, but it's something we've talked about before. So I'm just going to start calling it the Vlatko situation. That's what it would have been. It would have been discussing the same kind of stuff to not discuss the obvious limitations of the style of play, or to be like, we know what they're going to be, we know how they're going to play. This guy doesn't seem as capable of doing that, but also this guy doesn't seem great at it either, so maybe he gives us the best chance. It felt like it would have been a lot of theoretical discussions, not that our conversations are any more concrete when it comes to third-string left backs, but I think it has removed some of that just indecision or uncertainty around the team and their tactics and their general approach. And it's given us a lot bigger and more bold talking points at times, but I think in that way, it's a more enjoyable, like organic discussion than sort of having the same conversation over and over again, because that's where I think we would have been.
Something I don't think we've discussed on the feed, but it's important to me. Mauricio Pochettino at the World Cup next summer. Will he wear a suit or will he wear shorts and tee kind of situation.
The gilet with the goatee. It's a look for Poch that he's really leaned into. Is he going to?
Can't be doing a gilet in California in June.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. That'd be sweaty. That'd be a bit swampy. That one.
I think it's going to be the all black. He's done the Simeone
Yes.
thing before, isn't he?
Yep.
He's done that, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. So he's done a lot of like tracksuit kind of vibe, but he's also done the no tie, the black t-shirt underneath the black jacket with the black pants. I think it's a
and
strong look
trainers,
for
white
him.
trainers.
Oh yeah. I think that's if I had to place a bet, I would bet on that.
Oh, I like that. The tee and suit jacket look.
Yeah.
That's it. I think you've nailed it, Joe. It's the best possible outcome for
Ryan at
Pochettino's-
conference.
exactly. It's my conference look.
Is that?
No, the best possible outcome is he shows up in a lemon suit, but let's not get crazy.
Like a Savannah banana kind
Yes.
of look.
Wait,
That's
are you
exactly
talking
what I
about
was
a
thinking.
suit, a suit with lemon print on it, or
No.
a
Yes.
mascot?
That one.
Okay, right. Sure.
I'm sorry, I cannot get behind t-shirt with suit jacket. I just need that on the record. It feels very early 2000s. I feel like I should be on Bravo TV's Celebrity Poker. That is what, for whatever reason, I think they had like 5 people on it one episode, and all of them had that exact same look, and it's burned into my brain as being a like 2002 era thing. Maybe that's what he goes for. I hope he goes full suit.
I was in my prime in 2002. Maybe that's why I do it all the time still. There we go. Excellent.
So was Joe.
Good stuff. Graham, before the break, would you like to give us one more thing you're thankful for?
So my next Thanksgiving is to a person who had a very chaotic 2025, and that person is, of course, Big Ange. Now, I've had to reconsider some of my thoughts on Big Ange this year because I was always the Big Ange guy on this show, and that hasn't always been an easy position to take this year when he nearly relegated Tottenham Hotspur from the Premier League and then sent Nottingham Forest to the bottom of the league a few months later as well. But if I strip back my Big Ange fandom, I always loved him because he was the Chaos King. And he is still the undisputed Chaos King because nearly getting Spurs relegated in the same season that they finally ended their trophy drought and won the Europa League, you have to say that is good banter. That is legendary banter from Big Ange. And then when he got sacked by Spurs, the job that he decided to take next was the one handed to him by the craziest owner in European football, Evangelos Marinakis. So, Big Ange, you absolute madman. I'm not really sure how good you are as a coach anymore, but soccer would definitely be duller without you, and I'm still thankful for you.
Wow, that's great. I imagine Big Ange at the Thanksgiving table being asked what he's thankful for, and he'd be doing the slightly British embarrassed, "Oh, mate, really? Really? Do we have to do this? Really? You're asking me that? Really?"
What, just leaning on his wads of cash from the two severance payments in the space of a few months?
Yeah, indeed. All right, Big Ange. Of all the world coaches we could have picked, well, we've picked Pochettino as well, I suppose, but we've got Big Ange that we're thankful for. Love it. Thank you very much, Graham. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more things we're thankful for. Join us then. Total Soccer Show, welcome back. We are talking about Thanksgiving and the things we are thankful for. If it's okay, gents, I'd like to kick off with something else I'm thankful for. It is a computer game that I do not play and have no interest in playing. It is a computer game we have discussed recently on the bonus feed for a question from Ira
the best
Jersey.
computer game.
It is a computer game that has vanquished many hours of Graham Ruthven's life. It is Football Manager. I am thankful for the game Football Manager, which once again I do not play, have not played, and have no interest in playing. I am thankful for that game and Miles Jacobson, the studio director of Sports Interactive, who could make that game, because of the contributions they have made to the team I love most, AFC Wimbledon. They have been, Sports Interactive, Football Manager's parent company, the sponsor of Wimbledon since its inception in 2002. The longest sponsorship deal in English league football. It's in its 24th season now. And also, Graham will contest that having Football Manager on your shirt, it's the best sponsor in the EFL. It's not even close.
So good.
It's really cool. I think Watford have had it as well. Brighton have got some Football Manager sponsorship and a few others, but Wimbledon are the team. And they are just so awesome, but not just for their continued support of that, but this is for the second season in a row. They've donated they are the primary sponsor on the kit. So the away kit, they've donated it to War Child. So they still pay to sponsor all the kits, but they've donated the space to a charity, a very good charity as well. Not only that, they have donated the space on the third kit this season to another business entirely. So they're saying to Wimbledon, we're still paying you for the shirt. Go and sell it again.
What
So
other
we've got-
business?
Yeah.
Wait, that really colours how I think of this. What business is it? Is it Aramco or something?
No, it's like an office thing of some kind. No, it's not like an oil company or anything. Don't worry. It's a local office business of some sort. But the point is, they've donated that to a charity and another shirt to another business to help the club make more money. And, it's tough out there as a fan-owned club. I'm also thankful to John Green, the author, the Fault in Our Stars author, by the way, because he's a massive benefactor to Wimbledon as well. He has donated ad revenue from one of his YouTube channels to us for a long time. He sponsors the shorts. He's got this Don't Forget to Be Awesome logo thing on the shorts. He sponsors a stand at Plough Lane. Literally bought one of our players for us, Marcus Brown. He bought for us in the last winter window as well. He has a small stake in the club too. But the overall point here is that it's really hard down there in the lower leagues of soccer. It's really hard in the lower in US soccer as well, in USL. Not many teams pull a profit there. Most teams in the EFL lose money. The League One median loss among the 24 clubs last season was 5.2 million. Ooh. So everyone is losing money essentially. That's the median average there. So there are these proposals in League One to introduce a salary cap and a luxury tax. So there'll be like I think it's a nearly 5 million salary cap, and every team that overspends that, like some of the old heritage Premier League teams who've come down, who are still spending a lot of money, they would have to pay like 100% luxury tax, NBA style. I believe that's what they do in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken, if they overspend. So once again, a football manager game I've never played and have no interest in playing. I'm thankful for it because for me it represents like all that's right in soccer, all that's right in business, all that's right in sort of the community aspect of the beautiful game. So thank you, Football Manager.
I like that a lot, Ryan. To be sincere, that is a great one. I also am thankful that you reminded me that Point Break, the Catherine Bigelow movie, rules, because I was trying to figure out why the name War Child resonated immediately, and it was not the charity, though that is a good charity to know about. It's because that's a character in Point Break, and it leads to Patrick Swayze turning to him and saying, "Back off, War Child." And for some reason, that is hysterical to me, and you made me smile with that. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Point Break.
That's not the Johnny Utah surely is one of the great film names as well, right?
I'm an FBI agent. And being recognized for being a college football quarterback, we all know that can happen.
Let him go for one last ride. Let him go for one last ride.
Man. I might need to watch Point Break tonight. Joe, another random reference. I made this maybe last week. It was about Paul F. Tompkins having the bit about waking up in the dead of night and being like, "Oh, I never have to go to school again," and then just feeling relieved that he's done with school forever. I think Scott McTominay has a similar feeling about Manchester United. I'm like, "Oh, I don't play for them anymore." Oh, thank goodness. And so I am thankful that Scott McTominay got out of Manchester, because I do wonder if there's a sliding doors that moment there of if he stays there, it is just long suffering, long struggling on the bench. Certainly, he's not eating tomatoes and becoming the new James Bond. But also, I wonder if he's in the form he's in. Does he lead Scotland the way he did? I don't know. And so I think it has been a very good career change for him, or career shift for him, and it's worked very well. I have to believe he is quite thankful to be employed by Napoli as opposed to others.
I saw. Have you seen that picture of McTominay? I'm sure I must have put it in our Slack chat. It's from fairly recently. It's like a month ago of him in all black, and he's got his little espresso, and he's got the longer hair now slicked back. And people on social media putting that picture side by side with his his last squad picture at Manchester United, where he's got short spiky hair, and he's just looking at the camera like this. And the glow up is insane. The aura that is oozing out of that man right now is off the charts.
The Man United picture has Joe Lowry's lighting set up, I think.
Harsh but fair.
He does have McTominay's hair though, so it kind of evens out.
It's agreed. It's the slick back hair, but then it's still there's enough volume to it that comes back around, and it just looks very lush and very I am thriving and living the best life I could be. Now let me bite into this tomato while drinking my coffee.
How much do you think he practices overhead kicks in training?
Doesn't have to.
They practice him. That's where we are now.
Oh, Zlatan style.
Does John McGinn practice his butt? No, he doesn't. Some things just come naturally.
How could you?
Exactly.
That got me. That was good. Wow.
Just giving it a pre-match pep talk in the mirror. Just we feeling strong today? Yeah. All right, good. Let's get it.
Very good. Joe, would you like to give us something else you're thankful for?
Yeah, the last one on my list is I think all of us should be thankful for. And by all of us, I don't just mean the four of us. I mean the Soccer Society. should be thankful for the fact that the soccer society itself is realizing the pain of set pieces. Guys, we have a problem. We have a real problem. This is just ripped straight from Ryan O'Hanlon's article for ESPN from a while back. People should read it. I'll sure read everything Ryan writes because he's the best. Through 8 games in the Premier League, there have been more shots from throw-ins than in any season on record. Through 8 games in the Premier League, there have been fewer open play goals than ever before. Guys, this is a problem. I don't like watching this anymore. I'm a fan of teams doing smart, nerdy soccer stuff and set
What are we
pieces.
thankful for here?
I'm thankful that we're realizing as a society that these are a problem.
Okay.
Right? Awareness is the first step to a solution. I think maybe we've talked about before, like how to change throw-ins, right? And Graham's idea is kick-ins, which is unfortunately is a bad idea because it would take twice as long. But like we're realizing that there is something here that makes soccer worse. Guys, the ball is being in play for less time. We're getting less soccer now than we have in such a long time. And it makes me sick. So I am excited for change to eventually result in 2 decades from now when IFAB's finally had time to go through and rewrite some law of the game. It's going to happen. There's going to be some reform. You can bookmark this now, come back to it in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. There's going to be change, but that change doesn't happen without folks like us talking about it or Ryan O'Hanlon writing about it for ESPN or every soccer fan realizing that it's worse to watch teams that play like Minnesota United than it is to watch just about any other team do just about any other thing. It's going to change. So all of us as a soccer society should be thankful for the rising awareness that set pieces, at least to this extreme that we're seeing now by some of the best teams in the world, sucks a ton.
See, this is where the sicko in me comes out, because objectively you're right, Joe, this is worse. But then seeing Michael Coyote for Brentford just shell it into the Liverpool box 20 times in a game, I'm rubbing my hands at how chaotic that is. But yeah, might be a problem. What is it, passing is at a 15-year low in the Premier League this season? Long throw-ins more than double per game this season. It feels like teams have figured out a glitch in the system.
Why don't you like them, Joe?
I mean, to be honest, like if I wanted to watch teams stop and reset all the time, I'd watch American football. You know, like there's something about it that I do, but not really. Not as I don't have a lot of time to do that, and I don't prioritize it. Frankly, my fantasy team has 1 win this year, so that tells you anything.
Oh, can I be in your league?
Yeah, maybe next year I'm not going to be in it, so we'll see. Depends on how the Waffle House thing goes for me. I just think it's not fun. Like soccer inherently is free flowing, and I recognize there's always breakups in that because corners I think are fine and set pieces will continue to exist, and I think that's okay. But giving teams unlimited time effectively to go and set up this routine and for them to do it so often and to even build approaches around that, I just think makes for a bad product. And soccer's product, I think, among its fan base is really good. And set pieces is probably the only thing that can scuttle that.
I think this might be where our philosophies differ, Joe.
It's crazy that you guys are disagreeing with this. Keep going.
As Graham said, launching the ball into the box. It's just fun. It's just
That's where all the fun stuff happens in the box,
yeah.
in the mixer.
I mean, when I'm playing pickup, man, the thing that I just can't wait to do is just to lump that ball up. You know, like that's the thing that brings me the most joy in this sport. Is just trudging the ball up to the big lad.
We would not have had a McTominay overhead kick if it hadn't been stuck in the mixer.
All right, I take it all back. Graham's right. Ryan, you're right. I can see.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Glad to hear it. Graham, Taylor, any other things you're thankful for before we close out?
Go ahead, Graham.
Taylor?
I've already interrupted you once.
No, I was going to bring us back to the World Cup, and I'm just so thankful to FIFA for their really straightforward and fair ticket process. Yeah, because otherwise people would accuse them of price gouging and seeing fans
we were so happy
as an ATM machine, and people would just see the whole thing as a farce, and that just hasn't been the case at all, and it's been explained really clearly, and $600 for the cheapest ticket for a US group game is it's the perfect price point. Who doesn't have that risk in their back pocket? So I'm really thankful for that whole thing that's happening right now.
We know you've had the discussion, Graham, with your wife about the greatest night of your life, and it didn't involve her. Have you had the discussion about how much you're going to have to spend to try and get Scotland tickets next year?
We don't need the discussion. She knows. she knows when there'll be the front door to our house will be boarded up as we've been evicted before the World Cup next year. But it'll be worth it to see us lose to Cape Verde at Arrowhead Stadium. Yeah, that'll be great.
And you're like, my budget for classic football shirts is going to go down to $3,000 a month. I promise. I'll reduce it. And yeah, that's it. Good luck with that, Graham. We wish you well. And yes, you were totally right to be thankful to FIFA for their completely fair ticketing. Was it the average per stadium? I think you dropped this stat in our Slack, Graham. 8% of tickets per stadium are going to be for each fan group, so 16% total per stadium for the actual fans.
Yeah, which means, 84% of tickets in these giant NFL stadiums are going to be for general ballot, which are a fortune to begin with, or corporate tickets, or FIFA tickets. So, great job, FIFA. That's the great event that you're running there. Smashing.
Wish I worked for MasterCard at this point.
That's
Never
right.
mind. All right, Taylor.
I mean, I think Graham took us back to just appreciating FIFA and the World Cup so much. So, there's so much of that we could go with changing potential host cities and ticket pricing and all that good stuff. So I'm going to go in a more positive direction. I am thankful for this show in generally and the community around it. I'll fold two together. I'm really grateful for our Discord. For me, it has fully replaced Twitter, and I was never really on Blue Sky, but it's replaced that too. In terms of, I think that there is a thoughtful back and forth a lot of the time on different topics, and obviously there's lots of different channels, but I think it tends to be I asked that question about is the Bundesliga perceived by many as the same way Ligue 1 is, and there's been a really interesting conversation in the Discord around that, where some people have, I think, strongly disagreed and some have strongly agreed, and there's been some in between. But I like the nuances of the conversation, and it feels like it's generally very respectful and very positive, and it seems to kind of be a helpful source of discussion at a time when there aren't a ton of those out there. And similarly, I'm thankful to this show, obviously you all being here and making it easier just to do the show, but also you all bring such good knowledge and interesting points, and I feel like I learn stuff in every single episode, and at the very least I get to enjoy just chatting with friends, as this episode exemplifies. But then also with this show, I've noticed lately, this is a very pretentious, self-serving one, but I've been trying to watch soccer differently, and I love that the show allows me to kind of evolve the way I take in soccer and view it, because I think for the longest time, as my notebook will attest, I was if I write down every single thing and have every single thing down, I'll be able to find patterns and track everything, and you end up just getting watching one game takes 3 hours because I'm constantly pausing and being okay, who completed that pass? In case Graham asks who made the pass before the pass before the pass, I'll have that information. And in the end, there's so much information I tend to forget most of it. And lately, I've just been trying to focus in on what sticks out to me in a game, and why did that happen? Why is this guy on the ball so much? And then paying attention to that more, and it gives me a better view of the kind of narrative of the game and the approaches of those teams. But I find I organically start to pay attention to certain players and what they're doing in that particular game that maybe I hadn't paid attention to before. And where that relates to this show is just that I think if I were writing for a bigger site or had an editor who was coming in, I feel like there would be much more, it needs to be about this, you need to talk about it this way, this is how it has to be. And I don't think it would allow for that sort of organic growth and change that I think tends to happen as we age and as we're humans. And so I like that this show affords me an opportunity to think differently about soccer and look at soccer differently and try to see different things. And then also bring a quiz here and there, which I'm also thankful for. I really enjoy those every single week. So thankful for the show, thankful for you all, thankful for the Discord. Boom.
Yeah, I'm also thankful for all those things too. I really think the Discord is actually having a really positive influence on the hopefully the shows that we're producing these days. And there's always, it's such a broad scope of interests in there. So if anyone's listening to this and just thinks it's about what we talk about on the show or it's about the podcast, there's a million different channels. And so when I was watching the Las Vegas Grand Prix in the middle of the night at 4:30 a.m., and I obviously, I think Taylor was just so wired in on watching that race that he just wasn't really willing to tolerate my messages. I went into the Discord channel and there's people talking about that race, and I could go into any channel anytime.
What race now?
Something interesting. The Las Vegas one.
I'm joking. Sorry,
we'll talk about it later. But it's just an incredible community to have around the show, and I'm just genuinely very thankful that we get to do this for a job, which I do. Yeah. If I'm being honest, I take that for granted sometimes, and the thing that always snaps me back is whenever I talk to someone who does a real job, like an actual job, and they are usually so amazed that what I do is even a job that even helps to pay the bills. So I just want to say thank you to everyone, because I enjoy my job very much, and those people in the Discord and listeners make that possible.
Graham, I mentioned this on the MLS show, but like I was at pickup the other day. I was talking to a dad who's a firefighter, and it was just almost a like I don't want to tell you what I do for a living. Like I'm good, man. Like
Oh, you're a firefighter? Me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, those fires, man, they get hot, don't they?
I fight fires of discussion in the Discord.
I think it was like firefighter, lawyer, and tattoo artist were the three dads doing pickup, and then it was like soccer.
Yeah.
I talk about soccer. What's up?
Well, I had that experience. So one of my best pals is a firefighter, and I always kind of shy away from discussion about
Right.
my job for that reason.
So stressful, my job.
We moved into a new house not so long ago, and one of our next door neighbours is a Moroccan guy who is a heart surgeon, and so that discussion was a rough one. What do you do? Not that. No, nothing that important to society.
So he has a cooler job than you, and also was part of the angry masses on YouTube that were up in your mentions about you calling Morocco
Yeah.
not a big soccer country. Well, it's amazing that he still lives next to you and didn't just buy your house from you and force you to live in a slum, you know?
I'm thankful for that.
Graham, did you at least try the Seth Rogen thing from the studio where he's like, "Well, my job is important as what you do
that
to the
episode
room
is
full of doctors."
excruciating.
Yeah. Good show. I'm also thankful for Apple TV. I'll add that in. But I do, Taylor, obviously, I echo all of your thanks for our community, our
here.
Discord. Everyone who listens, everyone who spends a few hours with us every week, with us in their ears. I think it's amazing that you all do that. I'm also thankful for my fellow hosts I'm talking to right now. It's just amazing, like Graham, you mentioning like getting hundreds of messages when Scott went through, like the community that we have that do that. When I'm out and about in Charlotte and I'll get a tap on the shoulder, I listen to the show. I was at a conference recently where a bunch of people came up to us and said they were there. I met some listeners, which was wonderful. I'm just thankful we found each other, we found our listeners, we have the chemistry that we do, and we get to do this
Yeah.
and not do real jobs. Yeah.
That's the best.
Indeed. Thank you very much indeed. We hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, listener. Taylor Rockwell, thank you very much. I hope you're elbow deep in the kitchen making some wonderful concoctions
Right now, while we're talking,
while we're being listened to.
that would be
Everyone else isn't cooking right now? That's what I've been doing the whole time.
I've been stirring something the whole time.
a small
feet.
part of me is like, you should be cooking right now, but no. Instead, I'm here chatting with you all and enjoying it much more. Thank you all for all you do.
Thank you, Taylor. Get back to it. Joe Lowry, pleasure as always. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Same to you.
And Graham Ruthven, happy last Thursday in November to you.
Thank you, Ryan Bailey. To you too.
Listener, thank you the most once again. We really appreciate you. We hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving with you and yours. We'll be back on the feed very shortly. But for now, bye.